Bitcoin is still chopping sideways, trading just around 30,000. You know that every time we used to go up or down $1,000, it used to be like 29K all day, 30K all day. Well, it feels like it's going to be 30K all day for a long time here after the drop to 25.5 last week. As predicted, we probably just kind of float around in search of direction, but there's a lot happening in the market, global markets as well. And we're going to discuss all that. And I'm probably going to do a bit of ranting because this is me. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I am Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of Wall Street. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and check this out. So the Perth Heat in Australia is a Bitcoin standard baseball team, and I met their general manager at Sailor's house, and he sent me this hat. So use that to hit the like button, and also this very, very sweet jersey. Let me see. I just have it over here. Jersey. Check it out. You see it? Number 21, like 21 million Bitcoin. Get it? Get it? Really cool. So yeah, go ahead and use either of those sweet items to hit the like button with. Really cool. The Perth Heat, this team, he's the general manager, Steven, and they're on a Bitcoin standard. Players get paid in Bitcoin, buy everything in the stadium with Bitcoin, everything Bitcoin. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And so I've been trying to actually just like, as a favor, been trying to help find them a sponsor and try to get them more notoriety. But in this market, man, I got to tell you, crypto companies ain't so excited at this moment. If you're wondering why I'm not wearing that hat, it's because this is what normal hats look like on my head. Does that look hot? Does that look good? Kind of look like one of those MAGA dudes from like Alabama. What's up? Make Bitcoin great again. Anyways, you can see why I am not wearing the hat. Doesn't fit, and I have a weird head. Anyway, guys, yeah, I see you guys are talking over here about Varney, but first I'm going to tell you guys about the Bullish. That sound of a ticker. Check out Bullish, all the benefits of your favorite sexes and dexes with deep liquidity on an institutional grade platform. People don't realize that Bullish, even though they've only been launched for a couple months, like number 4 in volume because of such heavy institutional trading on there. I think they're only after FTX, Binance, Coinbase, something like that. Really massive volume, and you can partake in that too. All the benefits of a centralized exchange mixed with all the benefits of a decentralized exchange. Somebody said something funny. They called it a hybrid exchange and then called it Hex. And I was like, oh, I can't call it Hex. Right? But you guys should check them out. Listen, support me. Just click the link. Do what you want with it. Click the link. Show them you clicked it. Check them out. They are awesome. I showed you the record they gave me and stuff. But yeah, they've been a really amazing partner. And yesterday, I actually had a podcast with their marketing director, Chris Preseno, which we did in Miami in front of people riding a bull. So if you watch the video, there's some bull riding going on in the background, stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, I see you guys talking about Varney. As you guys probably know, if you read the newsletter this morning, and listen, I know I'm like inappropriately hard on myself, but I'm the type of person who, when I do something, I analyze it and reanalyze it and rethink it. I'm a perfectionist about the certain things that I care about. Like in school, no, not a perfectionist. Didn't care so much about school. Let's be honest. Not a perfectionist. But like if it came to like me recording a mix as a DJ, like I would only put out something that was absolutely perfect, something I felt was flawless. And if I was recording at home, I would do it 1,000 times until I got it right, because I really cared about the product I was putting out. And I feel that way when I do media appearances and when I show up, because I feel the weight of sort of the entire community on my shoulders. And so, I went on Varney yesterday, Varney and Company on Fox Business, and it's one of the biggest, financial shows in the country, one of the highest rated. What's crazy is when you look at the numbers for these shows, they're like less than big YouTubers are getting on every video, something I didn't really realize. Right. And I was on CBS last week. I felt great about it. So listen, I wrote about this in the newsletter, so I'm sorry if it's redundant, but I'm just going to go ahead and play the clip for you. And you guys can see, I didn't know what he was going to ask. I had no context. I just showed up. I should have done a little more research. I was aware that he was sort of anti-crypto, but generally nice about it. Like kind of had the impression that, it's not my thing. I don't get it, but yeah. But he came at me a little harder than expected, and I should have been maybe better prepared for it. I'm just going to play you guys the clip. I'm sorry, it's about 2 minutes long. I was supposed to have 5 minutes, so I thought I had more time coming, which is part of it. But I'm just going to play this for you and let you guys watch it and listen.
All right, now let's take a look at the cryptos. Where are we today? Last time we checked, Bitcoin was at 30 grand. It just dropped slightly below that. 29.9 is your price now. Ethereum just above 2,000 bucks. Scott Melker joins me now. Now, he's a Bitcoin investor. Scott, I think you are looking at some pretty heavy-handed regulation from Congress coming your way after the collapse of Luna. What do you say?
I have to agree, and I think that the crypto industry has been in the crosshairs of regulators long before that happened, but it's sad, obviously, to see that self-inflicted wound. It's interesting, they say first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. I think we're definitely at step 3 where they fight us, and that fight is coming. I do believe that the crypto industry is ready, has extremely deep pockets, and is gearing up for that battle. Interestingly, we talk about the CFTC and the SEC a lot, but I think it's probably the OCC, Fed, FDIC, the big bank regulators that we have to be more concerned about. At some point, that's really the choke point for the crypto industry, is the access to the banking industry for all of the crypto companies and exchanges, and even for your average individual. So if that gets cut off, that would be highly problematic.
I don't see the cryptos as a medium of exchange. I mean, not a currency, really. I can't buy stuff or sell stuff with it. And it doesn't seem to be an inflation hedge. And it's not protecting me from the downside move in stocks. I wonder, what is crypto for? I still look at it as a gambling chip. I'm sorry to tell you that, because I know you're into this, but to me, it's a gambling chip.
Well, I obviously disagree, and I think it's a nascent asset, and we're going to see it play out much more in the future. It has not been an inflation hedge in this very short term, but when inflation was rising, you saw Bitcoin rise from $3,000 or $4,000 up to $69,000. So I think it's a bit misleading to say that it hasn't been an inflation hedge. As far as a medium of exchange, we have stable coins. You mentioned Luna, which is not a stable coin. It's a massive misnomer to call an algorithmic stablecoin a stablecoin when you have something like USDC or USDT that is fully backed and collateralized by US dollars. USDT has redeemed $7 billion in the last 48 hours without even a hiccup. You can't tell me that there's any other industry in the world where someone would be able to come and ask for $7 billion and get it back immediately. And that is an incredible means of exchange, especially if you're transacting across borders or to countries on other sides of the world. So I do think that all of those use cases are there. We're just in that bear market situation where everyone's down. It's seemingly all bad news and everything piles on.
Yes, the bear market situation, the question is, how long does it last, and which coins drop out and which coins do well? Look, thanks so much for joining us, Scott. I'm sorry I'm kind of negative on the whole thing, but you got good answers to the questions I asked. We like that.
So listen, I was muted. So listen, he was kind. He said I answered the questions. He admitted that he was negative about it. So he was polite. But this was one of those situations where I immediately, when I was done, thought, that didn't go that well. That didn't go as well as it should have. And so, of course, like my team called, "You were amazing." And my mom called, "Oh my God." And then I went to talk to the honest person in the other room, obviously my wife, Emmy. And she made this point, which I hadn't really thought about. She's like, you go on here a lot, and it's Fox. It's mainstream. You go on CBS, you go on Fox. She's like, I send this to my family who are not crypto native, obviously. And they always go, wow, he seems so smart, but what the hell is he talking about? Right? So I don't really think about that. Like, if you're speaking to a mainstream audience, maybe they don't really care about Tether redemptions and inflation hedge and all of those things. So it got me thinking a lot more. And I appreciate all the compliments over here. Like I said, I think I did fine. I think I didn't mumble. I didn't stumble over my words. I had good points, but I didn't make the points that matter. And I had every chance right there to make the points that matter. This is what I should have said, right? He said, it's not a hedge against inflation. I made the point, obviously, that Bitcoin rose while inflation rose. That's a valid point. But what I should have said, and I had the opportunities, I should have said, listen, Stuart, you and I live in the United States, a country that has the global reserve currency. We don't ever have to really think about hyperinflation. Even at 8%, yeah, gas prices go up. It hurts the average American, but this is not a problem that's on everyone's radar. And frankly, you're a pundit on Fox Business. You do a great job of covering all markets, but I can't blame, I should say, a guy his age doing his job for just viewing Bitcoin and crypto as another asset class that should be compared to the stock market. But that's because we live a privileged life in the United States, a cushy life with a diverse portfolio and all kinds of assets and wealth that we've accumulated. And the bottom line is those things he's mentioning don't matter to him or to your average American, but they matter massively to people in other countries. I should have said, you don't view Bitcoin as an inflation hedge, and it's failed here as an inflation hedge in the United States. But if you live in Venezuela and you're getting paid in the local currency in bolivars, you're immediately converting your paycheck or the money that you get into stable coins or into Bitcoin to store your value and save your life. And when someone in a foreign country wants to send you money, they can send you a small amount of Bitcoin, which can sustain you for an entire month. It's literally saving lives in a place like El Salvador, and he doesn't have that perspective. And none of us really do if we're living sort of in this glass house, right? Throwing stones. Not an inflation hedge. That was the first thing he said, right? Not an inflation hedge. Then he said, what else did he say? He said, I can't really use it as a medium of exchange. I can't buy. I can't sell anything with it. I've talked to my friend Ray from Paxful, Ray Youssef, who said in Nigeria, the youth of Nigeria have created an entire economy based just on Bitcoin and have opted completely out of the legacy system. They buy and sell everything in Bitcoin. They use it to store value. I should have said to him that the majority of people in the world are unbanked or underbanked and have no access to the financial systems that we're even discussing right now. Right? You and I are here talking on Fox Business about what the Dow Jones is doing and the price of bank stocks. These people can't even get their money in a bank, but all they need is a cell phone and a wallet, and they can transact the same as all of us in an open, decentralized system. That's what I should have said. That's what I should have said. I should have mentioned to him that in El Salvador, Bitcoin is legal tender and people use it for remittances to receive money from their family all over the world. And they don't have to pay 20 or 30% predatory fees to Western Union and other agencies like that are literally taking advantage of them for the right to access the money that their family has earned in another country. And I should have said to him that, you know what happens when people leave that Western Union in El Salvador? The cartel robs them and takes the cash that they know that person just waited in line to receive, and nobody does anything about it. Nobody does anything about it. So yeah, it's really, really powerful for that. It's a little more than just a gambling chip. I should have probably mentioned to him that most people in the United States have no exposure to the stock market. Only about 56% of Americans have any stock, and most of them have very, very little. So talking about how it didn't protect you from the downside of the stock market is literally irrelevant even to half of the Americans, and certainly utterly irrelevant to the rest of the world. Right? Bottom line is, I missed the point. He misses the point, but you expect him to, right? It's not his fault. Nobody should be saying anything bad about him. At his age, in his position, his view is largely accurate through the lens of his life. You can't expect someone to just mentally jump into the shoes of a person in El Salvador or Venezuela, but you could expect me to do it, right? And unfortunately, I think I spoke more his language than the language that I should have. Yeah, I only had 90 seconds, but I thought I had 5 minutes. But either way. And I should, as much as the point about Tether is important, listen, can you imagine any fractional reserve bank in the world having their customers come and say, we're going to take out $7 billion in the next 48 hours and see what happens? They couldn't do it. Tether, not a drop of sweat. Shit on Tether all you want. It's not Ryan, it's not a matter of me being more and more of a maxi. This is how I've always believed about Bitcoin. I've given a lot of interviews. This is what got me here in the first place. And I've said this many times. I believe there's Bitcoin, the most important asset of all time, and there's everything else. And everything else has their own baskets and buckets and levels of importance and risk. I absolutely love Ethereum. Everyone knows that. But if you have to choose, Bitcoin is the most important asset that's ever been created, ever. Period. And it's so important to people in the world who do not have the luxury of living in places with access to banking, the global reserve currency, right? And where 8% inflation would seem like a dream, where your money is inflating 8% a day or a week, right? So listen, I gave a good interview. It's fine, right? Forgettable. Crypto guy, crypto investor, that's all I called me. The crypto guy came on and he made some good points, but I could have dunked hard and I missed the opportunity. But I won't miss it again. I will not miss that opportunity again. That's all I can tell you for sure. All right, guys, we're going to dig in a little bit to the news now. See what we got. First mover Asia. USDC hasn't flipped USDT, but trader preferences are changing crypto's rise despite bearishness. Glassnode Analyze suggests the collapse of the USD token has triggered a change in investor stablecoin preferences. Bitcoin holds above 30,000. So first of all, it should be noted. We're still, okay, it's 29, what is it now? 29,300, right? 30-ish. First of all, Luna dumped, 80,000 Bitcoin on the market. Sure, it sent price, but we're still here at the same price as basically when they started doing it, right? Around 30-ish, right? But more importantly, nothing broke. Same thing last year, right? 50% of the mining hash rate went offline at one time in China. The network just kept chugging along. Cockroach, survive a nuclear war, will survive anything you throw at it. The network just keeps on going. No bailouts, no stimulus, no quantitative easing. We didn't need anything. The network just keeps going. And not just the network, the market as well, right? Exchanges aren't going out of business. Trading operations are going as usual. We sustain the volatility. Luna completely fucked up. They deserve to go to zero. They deserve to collapse. But the market should continue. That should be not a criticism, but a lesson to all other markets. If something breaks, if something is a failure, you fucking let it fail. Let it fail, right? Well, something else I should have said. If companies are too big to fail, we're talking about all these stocks, right? And banks, and we know they'll never go out of business. Nobody will ever get prosecuted for their bad behavior. They know that they'll get their bonus next year, no matter how bad they do, right? But when you make things too big to fail, which is not the case in crypto, which is a free market, when you make things too big to fail, you make the individual investor, the person who's living paycheck to paycheck, too small to succeed. Because they're paying for the people that are too big to fail in the form of taxes and inflation, right? So it's not only that like these companies that we've let exist since 2008 that should have gone to zero and will go to zero if it happens in crypto because we have an actual free market, where we, the people, are the ones paying for it, right? Too small to succeed when they're too big to fail. Yeah, and Do Kwon's over here talking about Luna too. And guess what? The community told him to go fork himself. As I said yesterday, 90% of the community said, dude, be gone. We are over it. And to that end, major Korean, and I don't hate this guy. Honestly, I don't really know that much about him. I just know that he had a huge ego, a lot of hubris, and has been taken down a few peg joke, so to speak. Right? But yeah, now he's going to get sued and regulators are going to come after him. And the biggest law firm in Korea that is suing him, bad luck for him, right? LKB and Partners, a whole bunch of the lawyers there were heavily invested in Luna and UST. So not only are they reporting him to the Seoul police, oh, yeah, that's so annoying. Not only are they reporting him to the Seoul police, and making the case there, but it's going to be a class action civil lawsuit to blow minds. And even the lawyers in the firm are being represented because they lost their money. Will they win though? I don't know if they'll win. I don't know if they'll win, but it's not a good look. Listen, dude, I have nothing against this guy, honestly. I think that we've talked about this. He's young. He had the endorsement and backing of the biggest money in the world. That's going to make any young person say, what I'm doing is right. Probably truly believed in it, but now it's time to step aside and be gone. Just take a break, man. Take a break, you know? So anyways, yeah, not going well for him. Let's take a very quick look at the Bitcoin chart. Not much happening, right? Still kind of looks V-shape, inverse head and shoulders, call it what you want, but we have basically no volume since the major drop, which is kind of a good thing. Serious buying, price rose. Now we're chilling and trying to figure it all out, right? Chilling, trying to figure it all out, but literally sometimes there's just nothing to look at on the Bitcoin chart, and it's a waste of our time. Speaking of Luna, and we can't stop. It still pisses me off so bad. It pisses me off that I could go on TV and like talk about positive stuff, or we could be here and I have to keep talking about Luna and explaining to everyone what happened, why it happened, that it's not really a stable coin. Like, let's just stop calling UST a stable coin, for God's sakes. Call it literally anything else. UST, U-N-S, capital T-A-B-L-E, unstable, UST, unstable coin. We do ourselves such damage by lumping all of these things into categories that allow regulators and people who don't understand it to think that they are the same. Right? It's a shit coin. That's right. It's a shit coin. Thank you. I appreciate the compliments. Like I said, I know I did fine, but I feel like it was one of those moments, and I didn't realize it was one of those moments for after. Do Kwon has done more damage against crypto than the likes of Warren Button, but it's not even arguably. Those are just old dudes. Like, those guys are literally like collectively, I don't know what, like 27 or 28 in dog years. Say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Those guys are 200, right? Carry the 3 divided by 4 math, right? Those guys are 200 years old. It doesn't matter what they say. And the people listening to them are not the ones that we care about. They've done no damage to crypto, to be quite honest. When old man points and screams at something about how he hates it, that actually helps, right? Because crypto, Bitcoin, will be adopted by a younger generation that's native to technology. My kids are 7 and 3. They're going to grow up in a world where when we talk about money, they talk about Bitcoin and crypto as part of the conversation. They understand technology. And the more an old person, even their dad, starts yelling about these things, the less they're going to listen, right? Do Kwon, what happened with Terra, it let all of these people forget what they were saying. They were right. Elizabeth Warren gets to go, see, I told you. Janet Yellen gets to go on TV and say systemic risk, right? All these old people that we thought didn't get it, you know what? They were right. And consumers were not protected. So, yeah, I disagree about the age thing respectably. I can just tell you it's a cultural thing that, you know, growing up in the United States, every one of us, I'm 45 now, and I talk about how bad the music my kids are listening to, and they're 7, like just like everyone else, right? Yeah. They're single-handedly preventing older generations from even researching crypto. I don't know. Maybe, depends. Anyone who has a kid in crypto, you know, they get to talk about it. But moving on, let's talk about this is exactly what I'm talking about. Billionaire Bill Ackman calls Terra a crypto version of a pyramid scheme. He's right. Kind of right. Didn't see it before. Kind of right. Right? American billionaire Bill Ackman said that Terra's collapse shared similarities with a pyramid scheme that had no underlying business. This is what he said. Investors were promised 20% returns backed by a token whose value is driven only by demand from new investors in the token. There is no fundamental underlying business. That's not necessarily true, but the problem is that the backing that was underlying it were also volatile assets. Cool. But this is the shit we didn't need. Do we need Bill Ackman on TV talking about pyramid schemes and crypto in the same connect? Yeah, BitConnect. right? Not what we need. And speaking of shit that we don't need, nearly 5,505 ETH or 10 million of the 625 million Ronin exploits on the move. As you guys know, we had this major exploit with Ronin in the Axie Infinity ecosystem. Those coins have largely been sitting there. Well, now they're sending them into Tornado, trying to launder these coins, and most likely they'll get caught, right? And I believe this is the North Koreans, right? Lazarus Group. So maybe they won't, but they'll probably get caught because it's really hard to move crypto once you lose it. But let's see what it did to the market for Axie Infinity and Ron. And let's be fair, the whole market looks like this. Axie Infinity was $166. It's now $21.35 and looks like it's potentially bear flagging. And Ronin, one of the most hyped coins, launched about $6 and it's 50 cents. Right? Not looking that great. Not great. Yeah. Nice interview, but I agree with your assessment. Be ruthless about your convictions. Thank you. Yeah, I had my chance and I didn't take it. It was fine. It was fine. And finally, guys, Dogecoin co-founder says 95% of crypto projects are scams. Elon Musk reacted with like a rolling on the floor emoji or something. This was the tweet from Shibatoshi Nakamoto, Billy Marcus, who is the founder of Dogecoin. The reason why people think crypto is 95% scams and garbage and most crypto people are assholes is because crypto is 95% scams and garbage and most crypto people are assholes. Let's change that. It starts with you, what you support and how you behave. What do you guys think of that? I'm going to let you tell me what you guys think of that. Because I have mixed feelings. First of all, like you created Doge. But at the time, Doge was awesome and we all loved it. So I can't hold against him what Doge has become from when Doge was literally created as a joke and a lovable meme for the crypto community. Most of you guys saying he's right. I don't know, 95% seems really high. But the sentiment is correct. As you all know, I wouldn't say scams, but I would lean towards the garbage part. Right? I think it's fair to say, not even garbage. What I think it's fair to say is that the majority of crypto projects will go to zero. Right? That doesn't mean that the majority of people who created them are assholes. Like that's disingenuous. That's mean. I think most projects that have been created that short of being complete memes or dogs or just jokes, most of them are people genuinely trying to create something. They're entrepreneurs. Either they're trying to make money or they're trying to, advance the ball. And most of them just fail. Either they're dumb, they suck, they create a shitty product, but welcome to the fucking world, man. You know how many stupid products probably don't make it on to Shark Tank? And even some of the ones that do are trash, right? Maybe it's like 70% trash. 95 is obviously hyperbolic. It's a mad exaggeration, but I think the sentiment here may be correct. I don't know. I'm not that much of a pessimist, and I certainly don't think that 95% of the people in crypto are assholes, right? Maybe he could have said 90, some percentage of founders, some percentage of anonymous scammers who are spamming your Twitter. But 95% of us, right, he said crypto people. Aren't all of us sitting here crypto people? All of us sitting here are crypto people, and we have a great community. There's 800 people here right now, right? 800 of you. By his math, 760 of you are complete assholes. Yeah. Now, Emmy agrees. And says 90% of the people that you've dealt with in the space are assholes. That's dealing, again, with sort of influencers, project. I don't know, the 95's high. That's right. But maybe 95% of people globally are assholes. Yeah, that might be the point. We're no higher percentage than anyone else. But listen, guys, it's important to note most of this stuff will prove to be garbage in hindsight. Right? He's still salty. Where's that comment? It was a good one. He's still salty for selling his Doge for a Honda, right? He did sell all his Doge when it was worth nothing to buy like a used Honda or something. Yeah. Well, your wife thinks you're an asshole, but you're probably not. You're probably not. Depends on what he defined as crypto people. I agree. Listen, I'm more optimistic. I think that most people here who are investing in crypto, at least, are just here to better their lives. You know, just here to better their lives. And I think Billy's being kind of a dick. And I think that's why he got an LOL from Elon Musk, right? But anyway, yeah, I'm an asshole. Sorry, I'm a product of 2000 and 2008 once in a generation market collapses. Well, now you can add a third probably to your list. Anyways, I don't think 95% of you guys are assholes. I think actually it's pretty much just Tom. Where you at, Tom? I know you're here. You got to be here. Tom, I love you, but you're a real huge asshole, buddy. I know you're here somewhere. Listen, I think I'm an asshole for not selling at both highs last year. Well, hindsight's a bitch, right? So if you invested in any project that went super way down that had gone up at any time, then all of a sudden you're an asshole in hindsight for not selling. But I don't think you think you're an asshole right now for selling at the high. But if Bitcoin's $150,000 in 2 years, well, you would have regretted selling it, right? It's a problem. Here's the problem. Quick lesson. People always compare themselves to the best case scenario and outcome as if they would have actually made those decisions in real time. There's a huge psychological problem for investors and traders, right? I talk about this quite frequently. Let's say that you started in crypto with 100 grand and last year it went up to $1 million. You 10x'd it, right? Didn't sell. And now your portfolio is worth $200,000. Most people, I would venture, would say that they are down $800,000, right? You've doubled your stack from 100 to 200,000, but there was this moment when, in theory, if you had made all the right decisions in real time and known that everything was going to crash and that it was the dead top, which you could not have known, and had enough liquidity to liquidate everything. Let's not even talk about the taxes you would have paid for it, 40% if you had made $1 million in the United States, right? But you're down $800,000 in your mind, right? You should be viewing it as a high or low, not as a low or high, but it's very hard for investors. So what we do is we say, I should have sold, but there was no reason at that point to believe that you should have sold. So hindsight is 20/20, and it's disingenuous to say that you should have done that because there's no way to know at the time that that was going to be the right move. And not only that, it implies that you would have been perfect selling the top. And at some point on the way down, you would have been smart enough to buy back in at the bottom, of course. I could have sold then and bought now. Think how rich I would be, right? It's not honest. You're not being honest with yourself if you're saying that. So don't beat yourself up. That's the bottom line. Anyway, yeah, a stupid country. Listen, if you make $1 million in this country, listen, the taxes are progressive, so you wouldn't pay that on the entire thing. But by the time you're making $1 million, you're effectively paying 40%. And Emmy says, but you should have sold. I'm going to leave it at that. I should have. Yeah, the taxes. Anywho, guys, please check out Bullish. We're still doing the contest. We decided to announce all the winners on Friday. My assistant's going to go through and pick the 10 winners randomly from the subscribers to the very free newsletter, which is linked below. $500 to 10 people. I'm going to send it to you in Tether, a real stable coin. You know, guys, don't beat yourself up. We're all just here, trying to make the best decisions in real time. Coulda, woulda, shoulda is the theme of today. Serious Bach R. Very serious Bach. I've never met an unserious Bach, but you might be the most serious Bach. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Next time, Scott, be better prepared. Thank you, guys. I'm going to talk to Business Insider. It's been a good run. Like I said, I get the call when everyone goes, shit's really bad. Call that Melker dude in. We want to see him sweat. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and sweat. Guys, we are going to make it. At least most of us. Probably not Tom. Otherwise, the rest of you, not assholes, and you're going to make it. Tom, love you. Peace, guys.
That's dope.